Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel. Today I'm going to play the hot club version of Honeysuckle Rose and show you how to make a solo. Now this is a tune written by Fats Waller, and confusingly there are three different versions that you have to know about. The version that Fats Waller recorded with him singing has him singing more or less in a monotone, which is not very helpful for anybody, although it sounds great when he does it. The actual melody, which you will find in a published version, is quite a nice straightforward melody, and most other singers will sing the straightforward melody. And if you are playing this as the only soloist, maybe with a pianist or something like that, then that's the melody I would recommend. And that melody you can get on my Patreon page. But here we're going to do the hot club version. Now when Django and Stefan recorded this in 1938, they'd probably only heard the Fats Waller version and decided it was a great song, but it had no melody. So they made up their own melody, and that's what we're going to do today. So if you're playing with the Gypsy Jazz Band, this is almost certainly the melody that you are going to want to play rather than the other one. So I'm going to go through it phrase by phrase more or less, and then I'm going to show you how to make a solo. So we've got there's a lot of syncopation here and a lot of flattened thirds. So we start off 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is an intro which comes before the thing actually starts, and that is often done in unison or harmony with a lead guitar. So that's pretty straightforward. I'll just do it one more time. In fact, I'll do that with the backing, just that intro. Then we've got and again this is going to be pretty well unison with the guitarist. We'll almost certainly play that. So you're going to have third position, and that phrase works best if you do it all in third position. Then down to first, and give lots of dig to that phrase. So that whole thing repeats, and then it's into the bridge, and on the hot club version there's no melody for the bridge, so basically I think it's Django who goes straight into a solo there. So again, if you're playing with the guitarist, I would let the guitarist fire off on that and just play something like this. Then same again as we started with. And then if it's the end, then you repeat that last line, possibly down an octave. If not, then it's straight into the solos. So let's now look at the chord sequence. So I'll show you the chord sequence on the screen, and I will play through just the chords. So I'm going to be chopping away like a guitarist will. So what we've got in the A section is basically an interrupted 2-5-1. So if 1 is the F, then 2 is the G minor 7, C is the 5, and F is the 1. So we go 2-5, but we don't go straight to the 1, we have another 2-5, and then that's a longer 2 and a 5 and a 1. And then the G minor 7, A minor 7, C7 is just another kind of turnaround. So it's a very easy sequence. It's all basically in the key of F, but you don't really want to start on an F or reach an F until you get to the F chord. So something like something starting on the G, and that's where we hit the F, and I was actually playing the third of the F there. And here's another one. So it's pretty straightforward. Anything, as I say, in the key of F on the scale of F, but not actually hitting the F straight away. I'll just give you some examples of that. So that's pretty easy. When we get to the bridge, then we have a distinct change from the F major to F7, and I think you definitely want to hit the flattened 7th, which is the E flat, somewhere when we get to that chord, and then down to the B flat, and then the G7 has a B natural, which is, I suppose you could say, the most unusual note in the whole piece, because a G, all the rest of the G's are G minors, so a G major has a B natural, so make sure you get that in. And then it's back to the A again. Again, waiting to hit the F until we get to the F chord. Let's do that, the whole thing, and watch out for the change into the F7, and watch for the B when we get to the G7. Incidentally, the bridge, the F to B flat to G to C, is the same bridge as you have in I Got Rhythm. It's a very important bridge to learn. Once you know your way around that, then that's going to help you out in a lot of different songs. Now, so far we've talked about just using the F major scale pretty well, and certainly on the A section. But the F major blues scale is more interesting and more effective. So, what do I mean by the F major blues scale? Start on an F, flattened third, natural third, C, and you'll see that scale is mirrored a lot in the Django melody. So that shows it's an effective one. I'm going to play that scale all the way through. including in the chords in the middle, they won't necessarily fit very well. So just to show you how brutally successful this scale is. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you do actually that all the way through, and particularly in the bridge I would take some modifying measures to follow the chords a bit better. But it gives you the idea that if you want an easy life, then that is where you're going to find your easy life, with the F major blues scale. And again, you can play the F major blues scale but still avoid starting on the F. You can still start on the G and don't hit the F till you get to the F chord. And the blues scale will actually fit perfectly well through the bridge if you just leave out a few notes, which should be reasonably obvious as you go through. Another thing to think about, on Grappelli's solo, on the original 1930s version, on most of his lines he starts after the beginning of the line. So he pauses a little bit at the beginning of each line, and I'll just show you what I mean by that. So that's useful in that it adds an element of surprise, providing you don't do it every time as I did there. It's also very useful if you're not really sure about what chords you're going to be playing over. If it's a tune you're not familiar with, then just pausing at the beginning of each line gives you a chance to hear where it's going, which is quite an effective little trick, and hopefully no one will notice that it's actually blind confusion that's leading you to do this. Finally, I just want to show you one particularly neat lick from the Grappelli version, which I like. It's one I often teach people. I call it the C lick because it particularly works on in the key of C, but here it's in F. We're sliding up to a C, and then with the fourth finger we're going up to an E flat, sliding down again. So open E, and we go down for the E. And this comes right at the end of the bridge, leading in to the A section. I'll just show you how that works. So here's the start of the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's a really useful lick you can learn, and perhaps use that one almost every time you play this tune, and drag it around to a few more tunes as well. I'm a big believer in not transcribing whole solos, but I am very much a believer in transcribing bits of solos, and that to me is the gem of this piece. So I hope you found this useful. As I say, the other melody of Honeysuckle Rose can be found on my Patreon page for those of you who choose to help support my work. But a free PDF of these chords and the Hot Club melody is available to anyone who emails me. And my email address is at the bottom of the description. See you again soon.
Thank you.